Alright, hello and welcome back. So, this current event is slowly coming to an end, and the next event is around the corner. And the developers have released information, and of course, they have released a couple pictures of the next S-Class character. And the next S-Class character is one of the more highly anticipated characters of the game ever since the game's release, and that is Rosetta. Rosetta will be a S-Class defender type, and I think besides having physical damage, she will also have elemental damage, and I think she will be having lightning elemental damage because of the bosses. The boss forms in this game so far all have one form of lightning elemental damage, which I think will carry over to the character that we can play. And her primary weapon is going to be a lance, which I think I'll be getting since this character does appear to be very interesting. And the overall character skills are looking very nice, the character orbs are looking very nice, and the overall character moveset look nice. They look very interesting. And this is one of those characters that will have the tap and hold attack mechanic, the exact same attack mechanic as seen in Vera, and I am very curious to see how this character will perform against other characters. Now, it was kind of obvious that this character will be a defender type. After all, she does have a shield, and she is very tanky as a boss. So it was very apparent that this character will be a tank. Now, besides that, currently one of the bosses in the game, Alpha, does have a weakness against Rosetta. So the anticipation for this character was currently long lasting, and everyone knew that this character would be a playable character at one point because of that buff that you can get with using this character against Alpha in the pain cage. And of course, besides that, we are also going to get new story and the whole new event. Now, what I do expect from this character? Well, I do expect a lot of new interesting mechanics, and I am very curious to see how the tap and hold mechanics are going to work for this character, since so far all the characters that have the tap and hold mechanic are Vera and pretty much no other, because that's a very fresh mechanic in this game. And I am very curious if we could change forms for Rosetta, since Rosetta has several boss forms and several types of attacks, and she does have a lot of maneuverability. And she might be one of the more highly maneuverable characters in the game. And in that case, in that perspective, I am very curious to see how the character will perform. Now, besides the normal skin, I think she will have a lot of the paid skins, and currently there is only one other skin available that you can see, and I think more skins are still about to be disclosed from the developers, but the current skins that she has are looking really good. I do like the design of these skins, and they are indeed very unique to the game and very unique to the character. Now, if you remember, in the last story, Rosetta was actually defeated by Alpha, and she was badly damaged by Alpha, and she was moved to repairs. Now, in the next story, she will be joining forces with Eden, and she will be joining our squad, of course. And slowly but surely, we are joining forces with all these different factions that we have in the game. And that is a very interesting thing, since at one point, I think the Ascendants are going to be overwhelmed by our firepower. And since the Ascendants are, after all, very powerful, we also do expect Luna to make an appearance very soon, since I did expect Luna to be the next S-Class, to be honest, but Luna is very powerful, and I thought first that she might also be a A-Class, but it turns out that the next A-Class is still to be disclosed, and it is absolutely not Luna. Luna is a lot more powerful to be a A-class, and she is actually on the same power level as Alpha. So you can expect Luna to be a S-class structure, and as a S-class structure, she might arrive in the next 2 months, since they like to do one S-class structure per 2 updates. So maybe in October or November we can expect Luna to make an appearance as a playable character. After all, the 3D rendered model is already in the game, and that means the only thing that it is left to do is to make her a playable structure. But first I think she will make an appearance as a boss, and that might very well happen in the next update. I am very curious to see what the next update will bring to the game. Now, besides that, the bosses in the next event will also be very interesting, and the bosses so far have been really good. The boss in the last event was absolutely amazing, and people did like the bosses a lot. I did like the bosses as well, since they are indeed very unique, very fun to fight, and very well made in terms of the mechanics. Now, I do expect similar bosses like these in the next event, and I do expect Alpha to make an appearance again. And I think there is a chance that Alpha will return, but this time she might be a lot more powerful. And the next event will potentially revolve around Rosetta, since in the last encounter that Rosetta had with Alpha, she was badly damaged, and I think because of that they did decide to join Eden for a while, and who knows, maybe they will stay for a very long time. I guess we will find out in the next story update. Now, how will Rosetta compare to the other S-class defender types in the game? Well, I do expect her to be very tanky. I do expect her to be decent in DPS, because after all it is Rosetta, and I really think that she will be a I think she will be a physical plus lightning damage dealer, because of the boss forms in the game, and because of the all these different boss forms that she has. She just has to have lightning elemental damage in the playable form, and I guess we will find out. But overall, the character design and the character story will be very good, and I'm looking forward to play that character. Now, so far, I have to say all of the events that we did have in this game were really good. I did like all of the events, and so far the developers have been doing a very good job at the game, and they have been doing a very good job at the story. And besides that, I also expect to see a lot more cutscenes this time around. Now, usually they like to release a trailer before they release any character information, but this time around they did release the character information before the trailer. And I am waiting for the trailer for the next version update, and I think it will be very good, since in the trailer we can see the maps, we can see the characters more clearly, and we can see what the story will be revolving around, which I am very curious about. And so far, my personal favorite trailer was the Eternal Engine. That was one of the best updates that they ever did, and you can imagine the most iconic part about that was the music. The music was amazing, and you can expect very good music in the next event as well. Now, the music in this current event isn't bad, it's actually really good, but I kind of did not like it, so I didn't talk about it much, but it is good, and they did a good job regarding the music in this update. And of course, we will see about the music in the next update. Hopefully, it will be very good. Now, what does this mean for the team lineups that I use? Well, Rosetta might be increasing the physical damage of the characters, and in that case, she will be very good to be used alongside Alpha, since Alpha is currently the highest physical damage doing character in the game. And if she does have lightning elemental damage, then I can use her in the same team as Verity, and I can further improve my lightning damage, which will mean a lot, and it will help me a lot in the lightning horizon, and of course in paint cage bosses that revolve around a boss that has a lightning weakness. Now we will see about the A-class structure, since usually they like to introduce one S-class and one A-class structure in the same update, and then in the next update after that they like to introduce two A-class structures. So we will see if they will do the same this time around, or if this will be only a single S-class structure. And it is very interesting that this will be the third S-class structure in a row in the last 3 updates, and of course in the last 3 months. The first in a row was Lucia, was Raven. The second was the Vanguard, and now the third one in the row is Rosetta. And Rosetta will also have A-class structures, A-class forms in the future, since most of these structures do have A-class forms, or in some rare occasions they don't have. For example, Alpha doesn't have a A-class form, she only has a S-class structure, or she does have A-class forms if you count in the B-class and A-class Lucias, since after all she is Lucia in one way. Well, I have to say this is after all one of the more anticipated characters in the game, and people will be getting this character, and of course I'll be getting the character as well. And I am very curious to see the performance on this character compared to the other defender types, and of course compared to Alpha, since her enemy is Alpha at the moment, and she did lose to Alpha a couple times already. Last time she barely was left alive by Alpha, since Alpha did attempt to kill her, which was kind of expected. So the next story will be very interesting. The next event will be absolutely very interesting, and the next cutscenes are also going to be very, very interesting. Well then, with that being said, I hope you enjoyed. It is always a pleasure to play this game for you, and you can expect the whole story gameplay, and you can expect all the upcoming story chapters to be played on this channel. I'll be playing all of them, and I'll be recording all of them, both the hidden stages and of course both the main storyline. And of course you can expect character guides for Rosetta, since I'll be getting the character, and I'll be playing the character a lot when I get the character. And of course you can expect a lot more from the next upcoming event. With that being said, I hope you enjoyed. Stay safe, take care, and I'll see you next time.